Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we want to take a look at the cheapest possible team for the current Great League Remix Cup, and we want to see if this team actually works. What is the cheapest possible team, and why is the Pokemon on the side? In theory, you're always going to have a team that's going to be cheaper. You're going to have teams where like you have Pokemon that are at level 20, but there's going to be, of course, some restrictions here that I set for myself for the team that we're going to use here today, and those are three different ones. First up, the secondary charge move that you have to unlock for the Pokemon can only cost 10,000 Stardust. Second one, the Pokemon cannot be XL, so we don't have any Pokemon here that needs XL candy, as far as I know at least, in order to function. We have Pokemon though that need quite a bit of a power up. Like Magcargo is alright. Magcargo is between level, I guess the number one spot here. Don't know if this is ours. It's level 38.5, so it's literally on the border of being XL. And I think Linoon, it's on Linoon. Linoon would be a possible option as well. The Ferret is also going to be at level 35.5, so like those are quite more of the expensive ones, but eventually like you can get a Pokemon, for example, in the wild at level 35, so like half a power up for the Ferret there, and just a few for the Magcargo wouldn't be that expensive either. But generally you have to kind of cut it off. And the last point here as well is I don't want to use Pokemon that have a legacy move, because not everybody is going to have the legacy moves available for themselves, and this is supposed to be, of course, more of a starter team. And so today we're going to have also an interesting Pokemon in here, which is going to be the Magcargo, of course. Ferret and most likely Wigglytuff are Pokemon that you would have expected in a video like this. Those are two very cheap Pokemon, and especially Wigglytuff, a Pokemon that you really would like to have right now, especially after the season update. This Pokemon is fantastic. But the thing is here, why do we have Magcargo? And the reason is, most of the current Pokemon that you can have for this meta that are, having basically fulfilling the restrictions that we had before, like basically being a 10k charge move unlock, being non-XL, having no legacy moves, they are all kind of weak to steel type Pokemon, and especially the Fortress, which I was worried about. And so we didn't really have a lot of other options here that really would have made sense. But to be fair, Magcargo made a lot of sense there because this Pokemon is quite a lot of fun, to be fair, but also kind of helps out with a lot of those difficult matchups that you usually would have kind of struggled with a Wigglytuff. For example, even other fire type Pokemon. We are running the new moveset here, by the way, of Ember as a fast move, as well as the, just generally like the Rock Tomb Overheat still moveset there, but like Ember as a fast move instead of the Incinerate. Incinerate is going to do more damage, is also still generating energy quite fast, but not as fast as Ember does, and Ember is just going to give you a little bit more neutral play. At the end of the day, which move is better? I'm not too sure. I think both of them have their kind of like positive sides to it, negative sides to it. I think neither of them are like is good or bad, but both of them are viable. And I just want to try out Ember because I haven't done this yet. Ember is a new update this season anyway, so like it's not something that we have ever seen here on the channel yet. And so that's just kind of why I decided to do that. But as we're gonna see here as well, we're going to lose this matchup here against the Charizard. Charizard was quite a strong Pokemon in this matchup. But the next matchup is not going to go that bad. But you might wonder here, why is he going into a fire and rock type Pokemon against a water type Pokemon? And the answer is, I have no idea. The thing is, I was thinking that Ember would be better than Psywave in terms of generating energy. I know I need 5 more energy in order to go for a Rock Tomb, and I know that the opponent had an energy advantage previously. But I was thinking that most likely I should be kind of fine outspeeding them here in the 2-shield scenario because of the extra energy that I generate every single time I go for an Ember compared to them going for a Psywave. Turns out this is not the case, and I could have even thought about it a little bit earlier, because if you think about it, Ember just generates 1 more extra energy every 2 turns compared to the Psywave. You need around 6 fast moves in order to get to your own charge move there. You're barely making up anything there. I think per charge move, I think you get like 1 turn or something extra for free there with your Magcargo, and it's just not working out. It's just really not working out. You need, I think, an average of like 12 for your moves, and the opponent needs also an average for like 12 for their moves or something. It really just doesn't work out for us. It's not going to be faster in any way, but this doesn't mean that we're going to lose here, because actually the opponent gave us a big opportunity there to still win, as they revealed their final Pokemon, which we were able to beat there as well. And now we're going to have that Lapras against our Wigglytuff. We can go for the full farm down, and we're even going to be able to still reach another Swift against the opponent, which is going to do a lot of damage here, and with that we're going to be able to win this battle. Moving on, we're going to see here Sandslash, and honestly, I had so many bad leads with this team. The amount of people that are started counting basically those Wigglytuff leads, which I also kinda used in one of my recent videos as well, is ridiculous. Like, so many people having Steel-type Pokemon currently in the lead, so many people are running Poison-type Pokemon. My Wigglytuff really did get great matchups while playing this team, but this doesn't mean that this team didn't work out. The thing is, I was able to take advantage a lot of times of bad leads as well, which you're going to try to do here exactly as well, as the opponent gonna swap out into the Toxapex. This Pokemon is a Core Breaker, but actually this would have been a better matchup with Incinerate, because Incinerate actually chunks this Pokemon quite a bit more than Ember does, to put it a bit in better range for me to even, I think, farm down after 2 Rock Tombs or something. It is definitely a little bit better from what I remember, but still, we are going to be able to reach those Rock Tombs a bit faster here, which is kind of cool as well. And yeah, we're going to see why already we are not going to be able to knock them out with this Rock Tomb. And this is going to be a bit awkward, but I am going to decide to let this move go through. This is going to be a super effective, a double super effective hit, but it's Brian from a very low attack Pokemon with also a triple debuff onto their attack. The next attack though, I'm not going to let it go through. I decided to use a shield here, and the opponent decides to just let me get all the energy. I'm at 100 energy with my Magcargo, that is great. But we don't know what is in the back yet. It is going to be Spiritomb. This is going to be an interesting matchup, as we're going to be able to reach out for another move here, and the smartest move for the opponent is to mostly shield this move up. But as we're going to see, we're going to have our Wigglytuff, and we're so fast at getting the KO against the opponent, and with that, the Sandslash doesn't really have any chance here at all. This is going to be not enough to knock them out, but it's going to be enough to put them into a range where even the Ember later on would knock them out. But here, not a Drill Run, not an Ice Punch is going to be enough to knock us out. A Gyro Ball would have been, but it's going to be it for this one. Let's move on to the next opponent, where we yet again face off against the Sandslash. This time around a non-Shadow, and this time around one with Shadow Claw as a fast move. Shadow Claw as a fast move is going to be better for us, because we have 2 normal type Pokemon that double resist the fast move. Yes, of course, it's going to be a bit better against our Magcargo, but honestly, that matchup is going to get decided by the Drill Run or the Fire type damage, not so much the fast move pressure from the Sandslash. And as you go see, the opponent decides to go ahead and go for another Ice Punch, and they swap out now into the Lapras, allowing me to go for that Trail Blaze. This is going to connect here. No, never mind, it's going to get shielded. That's alright as well. But we have +2, and we're going to have another Swift coming through, and this is going to do a lot of damage at +2 damage. This is going to do so much, but the opponent decides to use a shield yet again. But at this point, I know already 2 of the 3 Pokemon. I know the Lapras, I know the Sandslash. I know that my Magcargo is going to have a fantastic play here against both of those Pokemon. But as you're going to see, I decided to use a shield here, try to get some extra energy early on. But they reveal the final Pokemon to be the Diggersby. And now we are in a bit of a rough spot, because they have the double super effective Scorching Sands against us, and this is going to be very, very difficult to beat, because we have to go for that overheat, but we also have to be kind of mindful of their own energy, our energy. We have to maybe catch a move here soon. Is it going to be enough to knock them out with the overheat? It is enough. I didn't really expect it, but it is enough to knock them out. I have to catch the move here though, because otherwise the opponent is going to be able to, just knock me out there. But let's see on how this is going to go. We're going to have the charge move coming through. My only play actually here is to go for the full farm down, because if I give the Lapras energy, they would be able to get to their charge move faster than my Magcargo, and I think they would win the team Pitta. So I needed to get the energy here. I am going to be able to go for the double Swift against the opponent's Lapras, and with that, we are going to be able to clean up this battle. Very tough one, always kind of bad alignment, but we're still able to win this battle. And I told you already, someone popularized Sandslash here. We're going to have that Carbink coming in against us though. Carbink is going to be a Pokemon that is going to be quite awkward for this team. And again, there are no better alternatives for this team that really would make more sense there, unless you don't want to build a team around Wigglytuff. This would be the alternative, by the way. If you don't want to build a team around Wigglytuff, you maybe would like to build a team around Thievul for the cheapest team possible. But anyway, we're going to see another Carbink against us. We are going to be able to even go for another Swift here, which is going to be great, because it's going to put them into 1 HP. And what I do is I'm gonna go for the realignment. It doesn't make sense directly, because guess what? The opponent's going to be able to go for the full farm on here now, and we are shield down. But now we have the Magcargo aligned, and we don't have our Wigglytuff aligned, which means whatever is in the back has to deal with our Wigglytuff now. And also, it's going to have to deal with the debuff of Rock Tomb. It's going to be the Carping, the Araquanid here. Araquanid is a very, very bulky Pokemon, a Pokemon that takes super effective damage from those Rock Tombs, but also it does resisted damage with a fast move against both of our Pokemon. But of course it's going to have the water type coverage still, which is going to be very, very awkward for us to deal with. But as you can see here, we're actually going to be able to take those hits quite well, the fast moves quite well here, and we're going to be able to go for a charge move. That Swift is coming through. It would knock them out with another one, but they swap out here into the Sand Slash. Great play by the opponent. I have to kind of swap out here soon, and I have to hope they can go for the full farm down. And I cannot. But is this a drill run? Or is this an ice punch? It is the ice punch. It is resisted. It doesn't do enough damage. But we lose a CMP tie against a Araquanid? I did not see this coming. I don't think this is also how it's supposed to be happening. But I'm not too sure. I can only check right now on the side. But we will still be able to win this battle because we get still 2 Rock Tombs off because I went for the Bubble Beam instead of the Water Pulse, even though they had the Water Pulse stored. Good game to the opponent there. Araquanid should never, ever win the CMP tie against Magcargo. It is, I think, even impossible to win the CMP tie against Magcargo for the Araquanid. I realized that there must have been something wrong with the game there at this point. It is actually literally factual impossible for Araquanid to win the CMP tie. So I should have got the Rock Tomb off earlier, and I should have definitely secured the win anyway, no matter what move they would have went for. Luckily, I would have still able to win there, but yeah, there is no way for Araquanid to win CMP tie against the Magcargo, so whatever happened there with the game. Unfortunate for us, but like at the end of the day, we still won there, so that's alright for me. But yeah, again, like even the highest possible attack Araquanid gets to 105 attack basically, and Magcargo sits at the lowest attack of 109, so that's literally factual impossible to get that done there. Anyway, we're going to have the Venusaur, and based on how the game went here, we actually don't really need Magcargo. We need to keep our Ferret, and we need to keep our Wigglytuff, and we need to keep them kind of healthy. Then so what we're gonna do here? So we're gonna go for the Rock Tomb, and the opponent actually decides to let the move go himself. Of course, we would have been able to also go for the Overheat, but I don't really care too much. I don't need my Magcargo. Magcargo did its job. Magcargo needed to get rid of that Venusaur. I will be able to get a ton of energy here against the opponent. I still know that there's the Feraligatr in the back, and I have the fast move pressure of all of our Pokemon. What I also have now is knowledge, because I know that the opponent knows now that my Ferret should be now at a charge move, based on my own charge move just now, because I went for 5 fast moves. And that's why I predicted that the opponent would try to swap out of here into their Clodsire. That's why I didn't go for a charge move. And with that, we are going to be able to win this battle, and we can move on to the next opponent, where we will face off one of the most annoying Pokemon in the GO Battle League. We are going to have Florges here. Honestly, kind of a cool team idea would be for the Open Great League to make a most annoying team with a Pokemon that everybody don't like to play against, which in my opinion would be Florges, the Morpeko, and the Aegislash, because you have double form change, which takes ages to go for. You have Florges, which just takes ages because it has the coverage moves the entire time, and yeah, Aegislash again takes like they all take ages with a form change there. Would be kind of hilarious. I might just take a look at this one, the most annoying team for the Open Great League. It would be kind of funny to play, but as you guys see here, we have the combo against us. Is a very, very bad matchup. We are just generally in a very, very tough spot right now. We have to kind of play around here because we know about the Lapras in the back. We know that the Lapras has a bit of an energy advantage. We know that we have a Rock Tomb still on our other Pokemon, which would be great. But we also know that we have 2 Pokemon weak to fighting in the back. And we are kind of in an awkward spot now because I cannot use a shield here because then Lapras just going to sweep through my Magcargo. What I should have done here most likely is should have go into my Magcargo as well at this point already to try to get some extra energy up, because at this point here there's nothing I can do unless the opponent somehow is going to be going for the charge move straight away and I get the outspeed with the Rock Tomb. I still have a chance. Can I outspeed them with the Rock Tomb? Let's find out. No, we can't. So yeah, good game to the opponent. Nothing really I can do here. It is what it is. This is going to be it, and we can move on to the next opponent. Next up, we're going to have Fearow, where we're going to be able to stay in here. We kind of want to just get rid of this Pokemon. I rather invest the shields here because we have, of course, that weakness in the back there. And you might think this is such a silly play. Why do you go for a resisted hit against a Lantern if you could go for the Swift? Because I don't want to take damage here. And you see already where this matters. The Ferret basically takes 0 damage from the opponent's Lantern here. And that's fantastic. Even the Thunderbolt is not going to be enough to two-shot us. And I know that a Trailblaze is not enough to knock them out here, but I know it puts them into a farm down range if I have a little bit of damage on before already. So while this seemed like very silly by me to go for a play like this, it actually was quite calculated, and I wanted to do exactly what just happened there. It wasn't like a misplay or anything like this. I was absolutely trying to do exactly what just happened. And so now we're going to have Makara go against whatever they have in the pack. It's going to be that Diggersby. And so I'm going to go straight for that overheat. But this battle is going to be insanely close. The opponent decides to use a shield here, which makes a lot of sense. I'm going to decide to use a shield here because I need to still hit an overheat later on. This is my play of like trying to win here. It's trying to hit an overheat for later on. And so I swap out of here, trying to get some more damage in against the opponent's Diggersby. And honestly, I should have stopped on maybe a fast move earlier because I already had that move stored. And where this matters is going to be here. The opponent goes into their Fearow. I go for the charge move. This is actually not bad. Why? Because the opponent needed to go down with a charge move anyway, and we got the opponent's Diggersby low, and here, overheat it is. And now I am wondering, if I would have went out one fast move earlier, would have been able to get more charm in against the opponent here, then I would have been able to maybe win the battle. I don't know, 1 HP and a loss. This is going to be it for this video. It was definitely possible to run the cheapest team possible. It was a fun one to play, and I will see you later with even a stronger team.